Thank you. I got to tell you, I've been to many churches, and this church's AV team is the best I've seen. So, yeah, something as simple as making sure the slide changes during the song can like make or break a worship service, and they're on it. So kudos. You're doing a great work and a good job at it too. All right, well, this is presentation 4 of the training. So what we're going to do now is look at the fundamentals of health partnering. And so like Eden Valley's class it's an intense like 5-6 month class, and they have like a week-long just on health coaching. So what I've done is I've boiled that down to like 30 minutes. But it's very simple. So, and we'll get into it here. So I honestly think this is like the easiest ministry anyone can do. And so with my experience, I created a kit that basically if you can read, you can get through every single session. And they're printing them out. So you'll be using a sample here later where we're going to pair you up, and then you'll coach each other so you can see just how easy it is to do this. So literally, if you can read, you can do it. If you can't read, I always say just go with somebody that can read, you can still be a part of it. So let's begin with a word of prayer, and then we'll get into this afternoon topic. Our Father in heaven, we're just grateful for this opportunity to put what we learned this morning into practice, where we can actually get our feet wet, so to speak, and begin this journey to work how Jesus did. And I pray, Father, that you will just keep us awake. We know we just ate, and we're sitting, and we know what's going to happen to our brains because of it. And I just pray, Father, that you will invigorate us and help us to grasp these very simple concepts that you've given to us. And we thank you for hearing our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So if you kind of feel like you're dozing off, feel free to get up, stand. I'm not going to be offended. I know I've done this several times, and after potluck, everyone sits. All the brain goes to your stomach and leaves your head, and we know what happens from there. So we're going to look at the fundamentals of health partnering. And really, there's just two principles that if you practice these, you will be a proficient health partner. Now, you've probably been hearing me say health partner and health coach. So a health coach there's like a national certification for it. So what I do is like a health partner training, and Eden Valley will give you a certification, but what I normally do is a health partner training, which just enables lay people to go out there and do it. So if you hear the term health partner or health coach, they do the exact same thing. One is nationally certified and one is not. Okay, so if you hear the two, just if it's confusing, that's just the definitions of them. So a good health partner is a good active listener. Like I said, these two things, you practice these, you'll be a good health coach, health partner. A good active listener and asks open-ended questions. Open-ended questions is like your favorite tool in the box. Because a health coach or health partner doesn't never tell someone what goal to set. You never tell anyone what to do. Because if I tell you you need to drink a gallon of water and then you don't do it, it's my fault because I set the goal for you. And you as a coach never want it to be your fault. So if they set a goal and they don't achieve it, it's all on them. Okay, so it kind of protects you because now it's not, oh, you're telling me to do this and it's not working. Now I'm not losing weight. I can't do it. The goal's too big. It takes all the liability off of you. So what you can do is through asking open-ended questions, you can lead them right to the goal that you want them to do, that you know they need to do, and it's all their idea. And so it takes practice. It's something that it just takes a lot of time not a lot of time, but you got to practice it. And before you know it, like every question you ask is an open-ended question, and it just flows like you're just having a conversation. So these two things, if you can get those, You'll be good. So what is active listening? So active listening, you mirror the person's emotions. So if they're crying, you're not laughing. If they're laughing, you're not crying, kind of thing. It's just kind of normal conversation. You shouldn't have any problem with that. Repeat their question. I've been doing this for 9 years, and I still don't repeat people's questions. But if you want to be better than me, repeat their questions. So when someone asks you a question, just repeat it. So the question you're asking is blah, blah, blah. That way you don't give a beautiful, and I've done this a lot of times because I don't repeat the question. You give a beautiful answer, and they're like, that's not what I asked. And so you're like, oh, okay, so what did you ask? So it's just going to really help you be more proficient. Give reassuring gestures when they're talking. Make eye contact, nod your head, say, wow, oh man. If they tell you something very personal that's shocking, don't go, okay. Just continue, just practice that, oh yeah, oh wow. Just remain calm and just kind of mirror that and let them know you're paying attention. Don't be texting, don't be looking at your phone, just be good. And a big one, and this is, it's real easy to do. I'm sure all of us do it. If you don't think you do, just ask your spouse or significant other, and I'm pretty sure they'll tell you you do, but don't butt in. So if, when they're talking, let them express themselves completely until they're done, they're done, and then you can begin to, do your part of the conversation. But it's very important that you don't do that. So, active listening, just to review. You mirror their emotions, repeat their question, give reassuring gestures when they're talking, say that fast 3 times, and then don't butt in. And open-ended questions. So essentially an open-ended question is a question that can't be answered with yes, no, or maybe. So did you have a good day today?
Yes.
Yes, very close, right? Would you tell me about your day today? Yeah, or you want more than like a one-word response. So if you say, how was your day? Good. I mean, that's the typical thing, right? How you doing? Good. That's what we do, but we never get a little deeper. So why don't you would you tell me how your day was today? And now they kind of got to say a few more words and kind of open up. So it's just the way you present things. You can ask the same thing. One is just a one-word response. One brings more out of them. And then as you keep practicing that, once you ask a question, as they're answering, pay attention to what they're saying, but another question is just going to come in your mind. And so really what we want to do is we want to get to the root of the problem. So if someone just sits around all day, we want to know why they sit around all day. And we want to get to and usually when you get to it, they'll just finally say, I'm lazy. Okay? But you got to the root. Okay, you're lazy. So how do we work on that laziness? Now we have we got to get to the foundation, and then we can build on it. And you get there by asking these open-ended questions. Does that make sense? Okay. So health partnering or health coaching do's and don'ts. I'm just going to say whatever's on the screen, so I don't have to keep saying health partnering, health coaching. Yeah.
They're going to get handouts with all this.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we're doing the do's. So review your rapport and trust at the beginning of each session. That's kind of that part I talked about with Bible work. You kind of find things in common and just kind of shoot the breeze for a little bit. That's that, you just come and kind of catch up over the week part, very informal. You want to discuss the gap between now and their desired vision. So if their goal is to lose 150 pounds, you're not doing that in 12 weeks. So the way I do the coaching, it's a minimum of 12 weeks. Lisa's coached, she's going on 3 years with somebody. I coached someone for 3 years. They were finally baptized after the 3 years. You've got to invest in people. I mean, this is the whole thing. So I always tell them it's a minimum of 12 weeks. I'm here with you as long as you need me to. If they're 400 pounds, you're not going to be anywhere near done in 12 weeks. You've got to stick with people. And I'd look for every excuse to make our coaching sessions go longer because the longer they go, the more walking we're doing together, the more relationship we're building together, the more roots they get in the church. So let's say you're coaching someone, and the first 4 laws that we cover are the hardest by far. It's water, which is easy, but it can be, a little challenge. Then we do physical activity, and then we do nutrition or diet, and then we do sleep. Getting somebody active, getting them to change their diet, and getting them to sleep different, those are really hard things. So sometimes once we get to sleep, some people will be like, this is I'm kind of overwhelmed. I say, that's no problem. How much do you want to pare back? And we can just go from there. And once you get that down, we'll start adding more to it as you feel comfortable. So what I've just done is, let's say they just want to work on water and physical activity. We've already been going for 4 weeks, but now we're kind of almost back at week 2. So we still got to get through the rest of the sessions. So I've just bought myself who knows how much more time by doing that way. So maybe I just bought myself another month with them, or another month and a half, till they get their ground going on there, and then we can move forward. So literally look for every excuse to make this drag out so you can spend more time with people. Okay. I like to call people friends versus contacts or clients. I just feel like a friend is more personal. Jesus even called Judas a friend. So I always call them friends. So ask your friend how they're feeling and use active listening. Always ask permission for prayer or for offering suggestions. So I'll address this at the end. Moving to that spiritual point should be the first thing on your mind, but the last thing you're going to act on. Does that make sense? It should be the first thing on your mind, but the last thing you're going to act on. You never want to push spiritual things. So as a Bible worker, when I was going out and knocking for Bible studies, people would sign up. We'd do a couple Bible studies. If they didn't want to do it anymore, that was the end. They would be inside. You're knocking on the door. They're awake. The dogs are barking. If you knock on doors long enough, you know how dogs bark when people are home and when people are not home. And so their dogs are barking like they're home. Their car is home. Everybody's home. You hear people inside, but they will not open the door. And that's the end of the relationship. With this, you build that relationship, and that's never, ever, ever happened in the 9 years that I've done this. Okay? And I never, ever, ever push spiritual things. You always pray before you go and err on the side of caution. Okay? So really, if you get to that point where you feel like you can pray and you have a good enough relationship, then always ask for permission. I always ask for permission for like the first several times that I go to pray with them. Because I pray for them once. Maybe you did that. They were kind of in the moment and they let you pray. But then maybe it was a trigger for them from their past. And then if you just go into prayer again, they might just kind of freak out and quit. Okay, so always ask for the first few times, several times, make sure it's okay before you just think, I did it once, I can keep doing it. And of course, for making suggestions. So the only time you should make a suggestion is if they're really, 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 really stumped, and it's like 3 minutes of silence that they're trying to think of a goal, and they can't think of anything. So you can say, do you mind if I make a suggestion? And then don't tell them what the goal, don't make a specific goal. It would be like, well, how about what if you just tried 3 4-ounce cups of water a day? And yeah, okay, they'll jump on it. Or, but always ask for permission. And then if I make a suggestion, I always say, that's just a suggestion. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but, you do whatever you want to do. Okay, so you make a suggestion, put it back, but that's the last resort. Okay. All right, explore strengths from their past to build confidence. So let's say they've been doing good for a few weeks, and then they kind of fall off the wagon. Remind them of how good they were doing to encourage them and kind of get them back on the wagon. Assist with realistic small steps in setting goals to build confidence. I had a guy one time, his wife signed up, and he wanted to do it. And so he was drinking like no water and was only drinking Mountain Dew. And it was the first session, and his goal was to drink a gallon of water a day. From 0 to literally 128 ounces, right? And I was like, I think that's too much, man. You should start small. You should start small. No, I'm going to do it, man. I'm going to do it. Like 3 or 4 times I told him. I said, all right, fine. If you want to do that, go ahead and write it down. Came back the next week, no water. He dropped out. His wife kept going, but that was just kind of the end of it. So you're there to, guide them in their goals, okay? Make sure they're not shooting too high, but make sure they're not shooting too low, too. Because if you achieve something that's somewhat challenging, you kind of own it more. It gives you more of a morale boost versus, oh, yeah, I drank 3 ounces of water today, and it's really not, a big jump. Challenge your friend to aim high if you think they can. So if you feel like their goal is just way too low, be like, you know what, I think you can do a little better. How do you feel about adding a few more ounces? Empathize with friends' feelings and needs, accept them where they are, and that's a huge part of this. Don't expect people to just transform overnight. You'll be surprised. Most people would transform faster than you think, but if they don't, just people are all over the place. Lisa was talking about a guy that she was coaching. The only time he got up was when he came down the stairs to his recliner and to go to the bathroom. He literally had a fridge on one side and a cabinet with snacks on the other, and he drank no water. All he drank was soda, and that was his life. And so, but his goal was first to go up and down the stairs twice in a day, but he said he couldn't do that. So his goal was during commercial break to just stand up and walk in place, and then eventually was to walk around his chair, and then they walked outside, and then they were eventually walking around the block. But what if, you just can't do it, and we got to make this big goal? No, you got to meet people where they are. And I had someone with almost exact same story. She just came down the stairs and sat in her chair and get up to cook and eat, and that was it. And then eventually, in 3 months, she was walking 3 miles, some of it uphill. So you just got to meet them where they are. Explore their best experiences and values and deep wishes. A huge part of being a coach is encouraging people. You're just there to encourage, check their logs, kind of see where they are and keep them accountable. That's what I was looking for. So encouraging, keeping them accountable, and spending time with them. Those are the big things. Keep an upbeat, positive attitude at all times, even with resistance. There's a lady I coach. So you know how they send out those, the church will send out those Bible study offer cards, and you sign up, and then people send them in, and then we follow up with them for Bible studies. Well, we did that for health coaching. And this couple sent him in, and they were very well-to-do. They lived right on the water this is when I was in Oak Harbor and Whidbey Island, and overlooking the Puget Sound. Yeah, thank you. I was like, please somebody know where this is. And right there on the water, and they signed up for this, and this lady took the cake in difficult people. You would ask her a question, and she would just look at you and would not answer you. And it's just we teach, ask a question and be quiet, and she would just sit there, and then she would just look away, and she was just no intention of answering you. I think her husband might have sent it in. But she was so hard. We would just dread going in there. But still, kept that positive attitude, and I've never met so much resistance in my life. It was like walking to a brick wall every time we went in there. So just keep that positive attitude. She's the only person I've ever had like that, so I don't think that's common. Most people are pretty happy that you're there to change. I'm sorry? We finished through the whole 12 weeks, but they didn't continue, and I didn't really want to continue either. It was brutal. But yeah, she didn't try to do anything. I think her husband sent it in to get her to do something, because he was active. He'd run around and he'd run. But, Praise your friends for their efforts and focus on the positive changes. We just want to keep it positive and encourage them. Balance overpraising and underpraising based on your friend's needs. That's kind of pretty self-explanatory there. Show appreciation for the challenges of making and maintaining changes. Change is so hard. I mean, how many of you have something you've been working on for years? We all do. And you've been working on it, right? It's hard to change. So what this does is just pairs you up with someone that's going to help you make those changes and keep accountable. Like, what if you had someone that you could go to keep you accountable for that hidden sin and would check in on you? Like, it would be really awesome, wouldn't it? So this is what this does. Revisit motivators when needed. You'll see we'll go over the motivators. So if someone's really struggling, go back to that motivator page that you fill out in the beginning. And if they're there for family or, they've got some things they want to do, revisit those and be like, aren't you doing this because you want to play with your grandkids? Or aren't you doing this because you want to have great-great-grandkids? And, just revisit those values that's going to motivate them to help them move forward. Use humor to lighten the mood. Keep it light. I mean, this isn't like an interrogation session. We just really want to keep things nice and light. Remember important days that they have mentioned, like birthdays, anniversaries, doctor's visits. Essentially what health coaching does is it trains us how to be good friends. I mean, to be honest, like if it's someone's anniversary that you love, you call them, tell them happy anniversary, happy birthday, right? So really what you want to do is just be a good friend, and so I need a lot of help in that area. So like if they're going for a doctor's visit, ask them how the visit went. If you're on that level where you can talk, those kind of terms, just kind of explore that. Let them know you care. Change failures into learning opportunities and life lessons. So just kind of figure out what's going on, why aren't they doing that, and if you can pull a lesson from that, that's good. This is going really long. How much stuff did I put in here? Be supportive and encourage family and friend support. You're going to find that you are their only support. Very few people have I coached that actually have good support systems. So, I mean, they'll just sit there and they'll say, I have nobody. And I always say, you have me, and I'm here for you. You call me for whatever, okay? Let them know you're there for them. Speak the truth in love to build self-esteem and hope. Just be very careful when you do that. Make sure it's in love. Stay current in health and wellness news, so just kind of keep reading up on things, keep yourself informed, and recognize when to refer to a specialist. So you're not a psychotherapist unless you're like a nurse or a doctor or anything like that. Your goal is there to encourage. You don't tell them what to do. You don't recommend specific diets. Just follow the materials unless you have a qualification outside of this, because we don't want to mess anything. Another thing is you never tell anyone to adjust their medication unless you have a license to do that. When you're coaching people, their blood sugars are going to start to go low. They're going to need to adjust their medications. You let them know in the beginning, if your blood sugar starts going low, you need to call your doctor and tell them so they can adjust your medication. Never tell a patient, just take a little less. That's way, way out of our scope. So never, ever, ever adjust medications. There's certain drugs, like some blood pressure drugs, you can't have grapefruit. So never give specifics. Let them choose what they can and can't eat. You're just there to help them to think about eating better things, incorporating more of those good things. I did that when I was first starting. I told someone to eat grapefruit, I can't because I have my blood pressure medication. I was like, okay. So it's never specifics. It's just principles. All we're teaching is principles, and they build the blocks from there. Affirm their good work and your desire to walk with them in the journey. Like I said, change is hard. When they start making changes, you praise these people, because this is huge. Get regular input regarding what is working or what is not working in the coaching sessions. So like with that lady that was just stone-faced all the time, like I would do that. Like what can we do? Like what am I not doing right? And it was just still no answer. So health partnering don'ts. Don't interrupt or cut off your friends while they're speaking. Don't talk too much. Don't play psychotherapist. Don't wear the expert hat unless your friend gives you permission requesting such assistance, or unless you really are an expert and have that hat. Don't assume you understand what your friend is saying. Ask and clarify. It's very important. Don't impose your goals on your friends or what you think they need to make. They need to make their own goals. Don't push your friends beyond their capabilities. It's everything very, very small steps. And don't become impatient with the lack of change. Don't focus on yourself or your issues during the session. You're there for them more than they are for you. So don't, like someone that's having all these issues, go bring your issues into their life. You're welcome to say, I struggle with the same thing. Like, I have a hard time with my water, but I'm working on it. Like, those kind of things are fine. But don't get deep down and dirty in your personal life about your issues, and they're leaving like, oh, that was a lot. But once again, as your friendship builds, as time goes on, you're going to become friends. So at that point, it's okay. But starting out, don't dump all your issues on them. Don't allow your friends to dwell on topics outside of your coaching scope. This is very important because you'll realize that you're halfway through and all your time is up. And so you want to just kind of keep things on track as they're moving. All right, so let's talk about the program. We start with water. So the initial commitment is 12 sessions. If they cancel twice in those 12 sessions, it's now 14 weeks. So it's one session each week for 12 sessions if they don't miss one. But if they miss one, it's now 13. If they miss two, it's now 14 weeks. But it's always still 12 sessions. The first session takes about an hour to an hour and a half. And you're going to see the whole first session here this morning, or this afternoon. And that's where you're going to see so many barriers come down. Because how many times do we talk about people's obstacles the first time we meet them? We never like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. So tell me what your obstacles are with your health. Like, that never happens, but it does here. You find out what's important to them, their motivators, their values. You come up with strategies to overcome the obstacles. You see them really struggle and dig down and dig deep. And then there's a solution forms from it, and they're happy. They're writing it down. Like, you'll find that so much. They'll say, it's really nice to actually write it all out. And that's a huge part of it. So what we'll do is we'll set them up with a wellness vision. And so the wellness vision is like the top of the staircase, or you could say the finish line in a race. So each goal that we set is like a step in the staircase, right? And if our goal is to get the top here, this is our perfect picture of health. So let's say your person, their ideal weight is 180 pounds. They are diabetic, and they have hypertension, whatever other ailments. Their wellness vision is going to be, my goal, or I will weigh 180 pounds. I will be diabetes free, off my medications. I will be hypertension free without my medications. So that's kind of the end goal. That's their perfect picture of health. And we achieve that goal by implementing these wonderful laws of health that God gave us thousands and thousands of years ago, because He created us and He knows what's best for us. And this is essentially like the cure-all for most things. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it really is. So each week, we'll visit and learn about one of those laws of health. And the great thing about this is there's a video that does all the teaching for you. So you don't have to know a bunch of facts about water and exercise. It's all there. You literally push play. Dr. Randy Bivens gives them a 3 to 5 minute just wonderful video, and we'll watch some of that here in a little bit. He does all the teaching for you, and then the book just tells you how to get them to set up the goals and stuff. So week 1 is water, and then week 2 is activity. And this is when we start walking with people. So you'll tell them, have your walking shoes on next time. We're going to walk together every session after this. So you literally walk with people every session beginning week 2. Nutrition. So what I'll do is I'll send them some good, tasty, very, very tasty recipes. And we'll do the nutrition session. And we'll plan, if you do it this session, if you do everything, it'll be like 3 to 5 hours. Okay, so pick a time. It could be on a weekend. But the reason why is we go to the grocery store. We learn how to read food labels. I teach them how to pick produce. I had sent them the recipe before. They'll buy everything for the recipe there. And then we'll go home, we'll cook it, and we'll have dinner together. Okay? So you just spent like 5 hours. You worked in the kitchen with this person. You've eaten dinner together. Like all this really brings people together, right? And then we work on sleep, and each week you add another one. So the first session, let's see here. Okay, I kind of talked about all that. So this is kind of a look into the materials that we created. There's all these little icons that tell you what to do, what to read. So if you see the guy in red, and we're going to be using these later, so I just kind of want to give you a rundown. If you see this guy up here, he's your coach. It's like me in a book. And when you see him, there's something important you gotta know what step to do next. If you see the red one with the text box, you just read that word for word. That's what you're going to read to them and say. If you just see the guy, that's for you to read to yourself. Don't start reading that to them. It might get a little awkward. All right? And then just when you see that, you just read it word for word. This is just for when you get started. Once you get the hang of it, you can kind of, get your own flow to things, but just to help you get started. When you see the play button, that's play the DVD. That's going to do all the teaching for you. When it says to pause it, stop it. It means go for a walk, the little foot. You're going to review the logs. And then when it comes to the time to make adjustments to their goals, when you see that icon, and then time to set goals is that target. And if you just kind of go through, those icons are kind of, the main ones to pay attention to are like these right here. But the rest is just kind of the flow. You just keep reading down and you'll be okay. All right, so this is what the book looks like on the inside. So there's a book that you give them, and there's a book that you use. So this is what they get. And this book, we put it into this book with step-by-step instructions for you to do it. So this right here, you kind of see the page that's within the page. That's page 8 in their book, so you always know what page they're on. And then this is page 24 in your book. And so when you're setting up their wellness vision, you can see their page with the wellness vision, and then the whole blue part is the wellness vision instructions. So it's all color-coded, and there's sample questions in there. Everything's there for you. When you got the obstacle section, you've got the instructions are in green for the green obstacle section. You've got the strategy section, the yellow section, the instructions are there. Okay. Cycle through all these builds. All right. Do we need a stand up and stretch break? Let's do it. Take a swig of water, stand up, stretch. So when you get these handouts later, you'll see those, if it's in color, you'll see the color coding and the arrows. So just when you get to that wellness vision area, just follow that part. Huh?
The coconut stretch.
The coconut stretch? Hurricane this way, hurricane that way. You want to do it? Come, Lisa.
This is the coconut stretch. It's really good. Okay, you go C, O, C, O, N, U, T. So it's coconut.
That was good. All right. Good. Okay, so let's kind of break down, let's go a little deeper into what we're setting up here. So setting up the wellness vision, it's essentially who they want to be and what they want to be doing. So this is like, it could be their bucket list as far as health goes. Like the one lady that I coached for 3 years, she had like all these physical activities she wanted to do. There was like this bridge she wanted to walk to and go across. There was this lake she wanted to get to, but she could never do it because of her weight. And so she had all these things, and she started knocking those things out, man. So that it could be those types of things too. How are you going to get them to come up with their wellness vision? Through active listening and open-ended questions. This is the key to the whole game right here, active listening and open-ended questions. It could be any length of time depending on their vision. So if my goal is to lose 15 pounds, it's going to be a lot less than someone who needs to lose 200 pounds, right? So that vision can be any length of time. When we do the goals, it's going to be specific to that week because they're weekly goals. So here's just some sample questions. What does ideal wellness look like for you personally? What are some things you would like to be doing regularly that are difficult for you to do now? How would you like to see yourself at the end of the 12-week program? So those are just questions you can ask to help, get them to figure out their wellness visions. What are some things you want to be doing when you have achieved your ideal wellness? So kind of like those bucket list things. So we're going to get there. How? Open-ended questions and active listening, right? Okay, when you're setting up a goal, you never want them to say, I would like to, when I can, someday. Nothing like that. It's always, I will. All right? I will be 150 pounds. I will be diabetes-free. I will not have hypertension. It's way more powerful than, it would be nice to not have diabetes. Let me write that down. No, I will. And I'm a stickler about that. And you should be one too. Because words are very, very powerful. All right, so here's kind of an example. I'll weigh 150 pounds and be diabetes-free. I will be able to play with my grandchildren without getting tired so quickly. These are just common ones that people come up with. So identifying their obstacles. So the most common ones are like lack of motivation, medical conditions, and laziness. I love it when people tell me they're lazy because they're honest, and we're going to have a good time. They got to be honest with this. Identifying their obstacles is a very useful tool for you. This will show you what they've tried in the past and why it didn't work. This will help you see if they're motivated or not, if they're lazy, all those types of things. And of course, you figure all that out by active listening and asking open-ended questions. So an example of an obstacle, I do not prioritize myself. I'm busy taking care of other people. I make excuses. I'm lazy. That first one is very, very common with kind of middle-aged women because they're kind of holding things down in the family and they really kind of neglect themselves. So you'll see that a lot. Hurling obstacles, so you want to explore their strengths. Use active listening and open-ended questions to get to the root of the problem. You always want to get to the root of the problem. And I don't know why that last one didn't build. Okay. So this is where you can learn a lot. This is where those barriers come down. And this is where you get on a whole nother level of friendship. Because you can have people you've gone to church with for years and they know nothing about your life. You're going to know a lot of things about people's lives right now. Your relationship is going to start to go to a different level than they are with anybody else right here at this point. That being said, everything you do is confidential. Okay? Do not share any of their struggles with anyone. All right? If you're going to give a testimony in the church about someone you're coaching, don't mention their name. Don't mention any identifiers. Just say someone I'm working with. They're losing weight. They're coming down on their medications. but don't ever give their name, even if they're a church member. It's just not appropriate, okay? Here are some examples. I will begin to prioritize myself and learn to say no. I will stop making excuses and being lazy because I realize they are only making me miss out on the things that are truly important to me. Finding motivators. So these are things that motivate people, things that they value, God, their children, their spouse, and even their pets. Motivators will help people strengthen their commitment to the task at hand. And if you hold these motivators in mind, it will help them stay on track. So if they're slipping, go back to those motivators. Or you can even have them put it on their mirror every time they wake up. I'm doing this for so-and-so. I'm doing this because of this reason. Examples, my family, not being sick anymore, having more energy, living long enough to see my great-grandchildren. Support system. There's probably an 80% chance that you will be their complete support system for everyone that you coach. So it's pretty amazing. I'm in a group chat with 3 of my classmates from nursing school, and one of them was saying last night, she said, I'm so glad we have this chat. I literally have 2 other friends in my life and I never see them. And she's in her early 20s. So it's not so just so many people out there are so lonely, and you're going to really become friends with a lot of people. Find out if they belong to any organization, i.e. a church or a gym. So this is where you kind of nonchalantly find out where they are spiritually. So I always say, do you belong to a gym? Do you belong to a church? And then if they say, yes, I belong to a church, then I just kind of play it by ear whether to pray with them or not, because usually you pray oh, what church do you go to? I'm Seventh-day Adventist. Bye. So there's just kind of that, unfortunately, there's that misunderstanding of who we are. So just always, like I said, always err on the side of caution. So that's kind of where I figure out where they are spiritually. If they don't, then I definitely won't pray with them at that point. But like I said, during walks, you'll have spirituality will come up. Support system, my husband, daughter, you, no organizations or clubs, or whatever else they put down there. Okay, so your weekly sessions. This is what it's going to look like in the planner. So you've just figured out their wellness vision, and then, so the way it works is you kind of talk to them for a little bit. You play the initial video that's going to talk about the 8 laws of health, just kind of a quick snippet about all of them. And then you'll set up their wellness vision, their obstacles, their strategies to overcome their obstacles, their motivators, and then their support system. And then you'll play the video on water. And then once they learn more in depth about water, that's going to be the goal they're working on, you're going to fill out this sheet. They're going to fill out the sheet. So there's your instructions. You're just going to read this blue part together. Just take turns reading this stuff. And then there's always going to be 2 questions until you get to temperance and prayer. But other than those 2, there's going to be 2 questions. And the question is, one guy I'm coaching now, he hates the questions. He's like, they're so subjective. I'm like, they're supposed to be. So essentially the question is, for each one, what it's trying to draw out is, how are their current habits hurting their health? And what positive changes could they see once they start implementing these changes? So how much water, how are your current water drinking habits affecting your health? So maybe I'm not drinking enough water, I'm tired, don't have clarity of mind. So if you started drinking water, how would that change? Well, I'd have a clearer mind, I'd have more energy. Just kind of helps them see where they are and where they could be when they do it. And then there's always some tips for success. You read those, and then sorry, I have all these little builds in here. And then you set up a weekly goal. So what's your water goal for this week? You'll turn to the back, the page. and I'll drink 50 ounces of water each day. I'll buy a water bottle and use it. So that's their goal for the week. So then they log in their progress each day. So whether they have a cup they drink from, you just measure how many ounces are in there. They write down, I will drink 6 of these cups, or they have a water bottle. However they want to log it. In this case, we just used ounces. They would just log each day how much water they drink. Easy enough? All right. So session 1, you're going to watch the 8 Laws of Health video. You're going to set up the wellness vision and all those other things we talked about. You're going to play the video and watch the video on water. Then you're going to review the key points from the video, the tips for success, and then set up the water goal. Then session 2, first thing you do is go for a walk. And there you get to gauge their ability to exercise. So the lady that I was coaching, or like Lisa's guy, for her, the lady I was coaching, we could just walk. It was maybe from corner to corner. Yeah, about from that door to that door in a straight line. That's all she could do. Stop, take a break, turn around, come back to her house. That's how we started. Soon we got to go around to the other side and back. And we got to go on the back side of her house and back. And eventually we were walking like 3 miles a day. It was pretty. When you see someone start making strides like that, there is no greater feeling. We have a dermatologist at our church. He's a young guy. And we did a little Sabbath school thing online for this online Sabbath school group last Sabbath. And it almost brought me to tears when he said this, but he said, health coaching is the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. And I was like, wow. Like, you literally help people with their health all day, every day. And he said this is the most fulfilling thing he's ever done. So you'll gauge their ability to exercise. And then what you do is, after that, you always review the goals that they did the previous week. So, like, session 2, you're going to review their water goal. You'll set a new water goal, and then you watch the video. The reason we do it this way, the reason why you always review the previous ones before doing the new teaching and setting the new goal, when we get to prayer, we don't want to watch the video on Trust in Divine Power and then have to redo all the goals and lose that train of thought. Because you're on session 8, right? So you've already got all these other 7 laws that you're working on. We don't want to watch the video on prayer and then go set a water goal, activity goal, nutrition goal, sleep goal, look at, their thankfulness log and their meal log and all these other logs they have, sunshine, fresh air, temperance, and then say, okay, would you like to set a prayer goal? So we want to review all the logs before, play the video, and then have that whole spiritual time guarded from all the distractions of all the other things. So it's all there in the book. Everything's laid out for you. That whole format's there. If you just follow what the book does, you'll be fine. Yeah, and it's just repeat and expand constantly throughout. Okay. Let's not go through the entire coaching session. All right. So here's the part you've probably been waiting for. And that's, how do we get into Bible studies, right? That's the whole point of this, is to bring people, we're building their confidence so we can bid them follow me, right? That's exactly what Jesus did. So how do we get them into Bible studies? It varies with every single person. There is no cookie cutter method for this. There's no one line I can tell you. What a line that will work for Vivian would, could send Lisa into a tizzy and I never see her again. You know what I mean? So there's no perfect answer. My advice, drag it out as long as you can, become their friend, and let it flow naturally. If you're praying for that person constantly, if you're praying before you go in, if you're praying while you're there, if you're praying every time you leave, it's just going to happen, okay? The lady that I coached for 3 years, she was kind of off and on, here and there. She'd do real good, and she'd fall off, she'd do real good. And it was like 3 months I hadn't talked to her. God just said, see if she wants to do Bible studies. I sent her a text. Next week, I was doing Bible studies in our house. You just never know. But like we said, it's an entering wedge. That door is open, and it just leaves that opportunity, okay? All right. It depends on the person. Depends on where we're at. I really like who is it? It's the Jesus ones. Yeah. Puzzles. Karen Lewis. And I forget what it's called. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. It's like the first...
It's free online.
Yeah, the first 7 sessions are just all about building a relationship with Jesus. Yeah, so it's really good. And then it gets into all the doctrine and stuff later, which I think is the way to go. All right, so health coaching is not a bait and hook switch type method. This is not at all what it's about, okay? We're not trying to lure people in the Bible studies. If I'm coaching someone for a while and it never gets to Bible studies, I am totally okay with that, because I've used a wedge to get in the door and the wedge is still there. And if we don't do Bible studies now, maybe we'll do them in 5 years. Maybe when things hit the fan and I broadcast to everyone, because I save everybody's phone numbers, like, hey, read this because Jesus is coming, he's at the door, if they're going to read it. And I'm totally okay with that. It's not a failure if somebody doesn't sign up for Bible studies. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so don't feel like just because you've helped someone. Did everyone that Jesus healed follow him? No. Didn't, right? If you think about it, Jesus' ministry is like, if you look at it the way we look at ministry now, where we got to get baptisms, Jesus' ministry you would consider a failure. Because yes, there's like one mention in the Bible of his disciples baptizing, but they didn't spend their time at the water like John did. They probably just baptized here and there whenever they got somewhere, right? So if you look at it from the numbers, Jesus' ministry was a failure. It was when the Holy Spirit was poured out later, when Jesus was long gone. That's when Jesus' harvest came. And so our work is to be like Jesus. It's just because we don't have the numbers doesn't mean it's a failure. What you've done is you've prepared the ground. That's what Jesus did. He prepared the ground. The early rain was poured out, and that's when there was a harvest. So don't feel like your people didn't get baptized or you didn't even get into Bible studies, that you're not doing it right. You're doing it right, because our goal is to help people get well, and if they're willing, then we lead them to Christ. So health partnering brings about that physical and spiritual healing, and it helps become people healthier. It prepares their mind to appreciate the truth that you want to share. That's what we talked about this morning. It develops a relationship of trust that makes people more comfortable opening up and talking about spiritual things. That's what we're doing. We're here to sow seeds, prepare the ground, and the Holy Spirit's going to make the rest work. Your job is really just to sit back and watch miracles happen without you even doing. The lady I coached was drinking 16 cups of coffee and no water. Her house was the most disgusting house I'd ever been in my life. She had 3 chihuahuas that would use the bathroom in the house. And it seemed like she would just clean it up whenever she got around to it. She had probably like 8 bird cages with parrots in her house, and she never cleaned her bird cages. She smoked in her house, never opened the windows. It was like ammonia with cigarettes and feces and birds, and it was just, you'd walk in her house for 3 seconds and you come out and you had to go change and shower and wash your clothes. Literally, it was that bad. Like, my wife's like, you're not coming in this house until you go get a shower. And this was every week, but I did it. And the guy that would go with me coaching, he was a physician, and he would go in there and he would, just the lack of oxygen in that place, he'd like no time, like hardly any help, he'd be out. And so, and not just all that stuff, but all the clutter in the wall and all the knickknacks and everything. So, we're coaching her, and she's going through, she's making changes and never mentioned anything about how nasty everything was. And one day I go there and there's like one bird cage left. And I'm like, what did you do with all your birds? She says, oh, I gave them away to somebody. And she just kept this giant cockatoo. They could have eaten all the other birds, but she had a big cockatoo cage. And then I started noticing like these shapes on the wall. And what it was is the walls were so covered in tar that when she took something off the wall, you could see the silhouette of what was there. But all the knickknacks were starting to come off the wall. And she started just cleaning out her house and cleaning out her garage and never said anything. And it's literally just her frontal lobe was starting to get clear. She could realize what she was living in. And without anyone saying it, the Holy Spirit's like, hey, you have too many birds. Hey, you have too much stuff, all this clutter. And it was just, and I'm just sitting back, and she was so anti-God. She was like, her husband had died of cancer, and she blamed God for it. He was the good one in the relationship. She was the bad one. She should have died. She grew up Catholic. She was just totally angry with God. And so I'm sitting back, and I'm just like, I know who's working on you. And long story short, she ended up getting baptized. It was incredible. And then she ended up dying probably a year and a half later from heart problems, from all the smoking and everything over the years. But God sent me there right at the right time, and it was just an amazing, amazing story. All right. So as they begin to feel better, they'll get excited about learning what else you have to share. And so that's kind of it. You're building relationships. They get to know you. What else do you know? Like, you've helped me so much. Anything you're saying is something I probably need to listen to and implement in my life. So it just makes everything so easier. They've had an experience just like the people Jesus healed did, and they will tell the world about it. So if you're working like Christ, you're going to have the same influence as Christ. And them being around you is going to be life-changing because Christ is in you and he's doing the work through you, right? So they're having experiences with you just like the woman at the well did, or just like the lady with the bleeding issue, or just like the paralytic. Like, you're the one that came into their life and where they were confined. They might not be a paralytic, but they've been sitting in this chair for 23 hours a day. And now you've got them up and they're going outside and they're scratching things off your bucket list. Like, that's amazing. And so they'll start referring friends, and it just happens that way. So the cookie cutter, everyone is different. No one's the same. Each person has a different personality and character, and they're in a different space spiritually. So honestly, you just got to trust the Holy Spirit with this. He's going to be the one to make that transition for you. One principle to remember when doing this is, and I got this from Mark Finley, red, yellow, green. Red light, yellow light, green light. Everyone ever play that game growing up? Yeah, we can't really play it anymore. Our knees would keep going and our body would stop. So you're walking with someone, this is the best time, because in a Bible study, you're sitting across the table and you're like, well, do you believe what I just taught you? And it's like, no, actually I don't, but it's just awkward. You're just kind of across the table from each other, and it just kind of makes it awkward. But if you drop these little seeds while you're walking, you can kind of gauge. So you don't have to be like overtly spiritual about it, but just kind of make a spiritual connotation to whatever you say. And see how they respond to that. If they pick up and spark up a conversation, green light. If you feel like they're just kind of like, oh yeah, and maybe say a little comment, but then don't comment more, and you notice there's kind of a little hesitancy there, yellow light. Don't say anything spiritual for the next couple times and then try and drop a seed again. If you feel like they just don't respond at all, red light. You stay at that red light as long as you need to. Remember, you've got to build that relationship first. Then as some time goes on, you can try and drop another seed again. All right? But like I say, err on the side of caution, because you will lose people and then they're gone. So I'd rather not even bring up Christ and for a year. And I would do that at Bible work, and I'd get in trouble for it, because it's like, you're coaching all these people, you don't have any Bible studies. Well, they're not ready for Bible studies. What am I going to do? And I stuck with it, and the church ended up blowing up. Not physically. So red light. Just hit the brakes and just wait. Wait for the Lord to prompt you again. All right, so let's take a little break. Bailey has offered to come up, so let's take like a 10-minute break. We'll come back, and you're going to see me go through this whole coaching session, the whole first session we just kind of went over. This is the most in-depth. This is the hardest part, if you will. So once you see this and how nice it flows, then it's all downhill from there. So quick 10-minute break. Come back at... I'm still on Florida time here. What time is it? 3:13. Come back at 25. All right, so Lisa's going to come up. When you first came in, you got 2 little pieces of
No,
paper like
just
this?
one.
Oh, just one. Okay.
Okay.
She's going to go over that. So if you kind of just want to get out, and well, I'll let her talk about that.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to help your family or close friends because they know you. And so they sometimes, like trying to help somebody that's really close to you is not as easy as maybe trying to help a stranger. So a lot of our students at Eden Valley, they go out into the community and they do this community survey. And it's an easy way to get friends. We call them clients, but I like Josh's idea of calling them friends. It's an easy way to get somebody to coach. People want to help you. Most people are decent, good people, and they want to help you. And so it's a good way to get somebody to be your client, but also for them to come and help you. Okay, Mark, come up here. Yes, you. Okay. So when you go to the door, this is you take this community health survey sheet with you. Vivian has the template for it. So, like if you want to take 10 or 15 out, no, I want you to come here, be my door person. Yes. Does everybody have one of these? The community health surveys? Okay.
Here you go, Mark.
So when you go to the door, does anyone else need it? No, yeah, that's it. Okay. So when you go to the door and they come to the door, this is what you'll read. And so you say, "Hi, my name is Lisa, and this is my friend Josh. And we are taking a certificate course in wellness coaching from Eden Valley Institute of Wellness in Loveland, Colorado. I'd like you to read this statement." And so you give them this and read it out loud. This is from a government agency. It's an amazing statistic.
According to the National Health Council, generally incurable and ongoing chronic diseases affect an estimated 157 million Americans, with 81 million having multiple conditions.
So, this is kind of a shocking thing for them. And so you have them read it because, when you want to ask them some questions, it's good to get them involved with what you're doing. And so when they read it, they're more likely to then keep listening to you. So you say, isn't that just a crazy statistic? And they'll say yes. And then you say,
Yes.
As part of the course, we are doing a short community health survey. So number 1, and you never ask them if you can ask them questions, or you never give them an opportunity to say no. So you don't say, can I ask you a few questions? If they say no, then you're done. And so you just go right into number 1. Do you know anyone with cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, or obesity?
No.
You're supposed to say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you or anyone in your household suffer from any of these diseases?
Yes.
If so, may I ask which ones?
Everything but high blood pressure.
Whoa, okay. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your overall health? 10 being the best.
5.
Okay, so you have some ways to go. What needs to change to make it a 10?
That's a tough question. I don't know.
Well, we'll come back to that later.
Okay, come back to
All
that
right.
later.
So what have you tried in the past to achieve better health?
Everything.
Everything meaning
Exercise, diet,
pills?
vitamins, supplements.
Okay. As a student, I need to put in 12 hours of practicum to help someone achieve their health goals. Would you or someone in your home be interested in personalized coaching? This would be just 1 hour a day, 1 hour a week for 12 weeks. Now, this is worth $1,125. Now, the way that I came up with that figure is wellness coaches charge about $90 an hour. So 90 times 12 is like $1,125. So this program that's worth $1,125 would be free to you and help me get my wellness coaching certificate. Would you be interested?
Absolutely.
So you write their name and number.
Sign me up.
So wait, so why not a 10? We didn't go back to that.
Why?
Why not a 10?
Oh, why not a 10? Oh, well, okay. So then when we go back to that, your goal is to be a 10, and during our coaching sessions, you'll be able to reach that.
Awesome. Love it.
Thank you, Lisa. So this is what... Nah, thanks so.
Not Josh's class.
Here.
But our students, not his class, but subsequent classes, they went out and in 2 hours they got 17 clients. And this church had hired us to do their pre-work for evangelistic meetings to be held in October. So our students did this for 3 months or more. 14 of the 17 students moved into the evangelistic meetings, and all 14 were baptized at the end of it. So this is a really good pre-work, but like Josh said, this is not a bait and switch. Like my client that I'm going on to the 3rd year, we've never had a Bible study yet. And, it's okay. So, but it is a very good way to reach your community.
Thank you, Lisa. So Lisa mentioned this morning about meeting with Mark Finley at camp meeting, and he actually flew us out like that next week to go train his team in Haymarket, Virginia. And so they've been doing coaching there, and it's neat now. Everywhere Mark Finley goes, they talk about coaching. But they said that they're most involved and like the best people that they have from the community are the people that started with health coaching. They come to all their programs, they come to the Bible studies in his home. I mean, they're just so involved in the church, and they said the best ones they have are from the health coaching. So it's really great. Okay, so you have they gave you 2 handouts just moments ago. You'll see on the front, one says Health Partners Guide, and one just says the whole life. There doesn't say anything on the bottom there. If you need those, raise your hand, and we've got. So you should get 2 packs there. One says Health Partners Guide, and the other one is the Wellness Planner, but it doesn't say it on there. The Health Partners Guide is what you would take with you into the home, okay? And that is the one that gives you all the step-by-step instructions. The other one that doesn't say Health Partners Guide is the Wellness Planner. That's what you would give to the person you're coaching. Okay, so for example, I have the Health Partners Guide. It's a hardcover. I'm going to be coaching Bailey, and Bailey has the Wellness Planner. Okay, so I want you to follow along in the Health Partners Guide. And you'll be able to, what page number does it say on that first page? It's for the coach. Yep. And that's what I want you to follow along with me as I coach her. Don't get too carried away with following me along, but I just want you to kind of see the flow. I really want you to listen to how I communicate with Bailey up here, how I ask the questions and everything. What's that? No, this is on. Is it okay if this is live stream? Yeah. Okay. All right. And then I'm also going to be playing a video from here, but it should work fine with the Apple TV as long as the sound is on. Okay. All right. So everyone have their Health Partners Guide pack? Does anyone not know what I'm talking about when I say that? Okay. All right. So Bailey is like a church member or someone you met doing health surveys, and she has signed up for health coaching, and we're going to have our first session together. Okay. What's the page number again?
The icons is
11. Okay, so there's the little icon guide. That's just kind of for your reference. You're not really going to use it today, but it's just going to help you in the future. What's the next page you have there? 17. Pre-session checklist. Great. Okay, so there is page 17. Can you show it to me real quick? Pre-session checklist. Okay. That's actually 15 in the book. All right, I'll have to change that. Okay, so this is a checklist that you kind of go through for every single session, okay? This makes sure you have absolutely everything you'll need, and you'll never forget anything if you go with this session, unless, you did something outside and you told them you would bring something, and that's kind of on you. But this will literally have you set for every single session. For each, this is kind of a general one. There is a checklist for each individual session also. Like for session 1, I kind of added, it'll have like what videos you're going to play. And then I added like, if you want to bring them a BPA-free water bottle, you're welcome to do that as a nice gift if you want to and can. So each session will have their own individual, like it doesn't tell you to bring your walking shoes for session 1, but it'll tell you for each session after that to bring your walking shoes. So you always know what you have to bring at each session. What's the next page you have on there? Post-session. So every time you meet with someone, after you meet with them, look at that post-session checklist. It kind of just reminds you to write down important dates if they gave them to you, to pray for them, things like that. Everything you need to do for the post-session. Yeah, you don't do it with them. No, oh, well, let me write down your birthday here. You don't want to do that. And don't write like ultra personal information on there either, just little things like when their birthday is, when their anniversary is, if they went to the doctor, just so next time you visit, you can, ask them how it went or tell them happy birthday or whatever. And then the next page is be prepared. Okay, so that is your checklist for session 1. So there's a general checklist for all of them, a pre-session checklist, there's a post-session checklist, and then there's a checklist for each session. So it's really just kind of fail-safe here. All right, so we're going to start right there under that checklist where it says upon arrival. So I haven't gone into the home yet. I'm just kind of, before I've gone, I've read over this page here. So it just says, upon arrival, make sure you and your companion, you should always go 2 by 2, know the name of the person you're going to meet before you come to their door. Come to their door with a smile. Once they open the door, introduce yourself again. Give them a warm greeting and ask them how they're doing. Be pet friendly. If they have a friendly dog or a sweet kitty, be sure to be friendly with them as well. This will often help with the awkwardness that comes with being in a stranger's home and for them having a stranger in their home. It's awkward. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a little bit of awkwardness at first, but once you start getting into it, that's going to go away and you're going to build a friendship. It's just kind of awkward anytime you meet someone new. That's just kind of the way things are, unless you don't get awkward meeting with people. Okay. So I've come to the door. Hi, Bailey. Hi. I'm Josh again. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Again.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Bailey.
Well, I'm a mother of 2 boys, stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
I don't know. Nothing too exciting.
So you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
You have 2 boys?
Yes.
How old are they?
2 and 4.
Okay. 2 and 4.
Yes.
Are you going to have any more?
That's an awkward question. I don't know.
You don't
I
know
guess
yet?
we'll see.
Okay.
We're interested in adoption at some point.
Okay, so yeah, you might have more.
Yeah.
So what's making you think of adoption?
I'm sorry?
What's making you think of adoption?
Oh, I was adopted, so.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I always thought it'd be cool to adopt.
Oh, that's really
one,
cool.
so.
Wow, neat story. All right. Did you work before you had kids or anything like that?
A little bit. I was a nanny,
Okay.
part-time,
Oh, wow. So just childcare is your thing, huh?
I guess.
That's great. It's great. My wife's a stay-at-home mom too.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. You can do that. That's very cool. So how long have you lived in the area?
7.5 years.
Okay. And where'd you come from before then?
Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Pittsburgh,
So
Kansas.
it's about 2 hours south of here.
Okay. Neat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Well, I am really excited that you're volunteering to come up here and do this in front of not a whole bunch of people, but I know it can be very difficult, so thank you for doing that. I'm excited that you're going to start this journey. So what I'm going to do here, if you're following along, it's where it says Introduction and Instructions. I'm literally going to read this book like you would on your first session. I'm just going to go word for word, verbatim out of here, okay? Just so you can see how the book flows. So I've kind of done 1 and 2, and I'm at the red box there for number 2. So I'm excited that you're starting your journey to experience the whole life. I want to remind you that this is a minimum 12-session program. This means that you will meet with us for 12 sessions over a 12-week period. However, if you miss a week, the program is now 13 weeks. So anytime you miss, it just adds a week to it. This allows you to take advantage of all 12 sessions. This is only the minimum, and I want you to know that I'm here for you as long as you need me with no obligation. It's always just a cost of the wellness planner. This session is going to be the longest session because we have a lot to figure out. It will be about 1.5 to 2 hours. I'll go a little faster in the training here. The following sessions will be 30 minutes to an hour. Just depends on how much we walk. All right, so I gave you the planner already?
Yeah, right
Okay,
here. Is
great.
there a page I need to be on? Or
You can turn to page 5, yeah.
5, okay.
So this is the planner. It's $30. This is where you'll write your goals, your struggles, and your solutions. This is also where you'll log all of your progress and keep track of your wellness journey. The first 9 sessions will touch on different health principles, and the last 3 sessions are to help you maintain your momentum. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Any questions?
Nope.
No? Okay. Let's get started by turning to page 5. I will read the first paragraph, and then we can alternate reading. Is that okay with you?
I would prefer not to. I'm not the best at reading, actually.
Okay, sure.
So,
I can read it.
Sorry.
No problem.
Especially big words.
That's all right. All right. So your journey to the whole life begins today. So how the program works. Have you ever started a diet or workout only to stop after a few days? We know the struggle. This program is unique because instead of focusing on achieving results as soon as possible, we will help you achieve your own wellness goals in small, attainable steps that will ensure lifelong results. It is meant to be tailored to your specific needs and help you achieve health and wholeness in every aspect of your life. No crash diets or demanding workouts required here. Are you ready for the whole life? Your journey begins today.
All right.
All right. So your wellness vision. Imagine a staircase. At the top are 10 health goals you want to accomplish. These 10 health goals are what make up your personal wellness vision, your perfect picture of health. Once you achieve these 10 goals, you have reached your wellness vision, the top of the staircase. Some people have small staircases and some larger staircases. The size of yours will indicate how long your journey will be. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Weekly goals. The weekly goals are like single steps on the staircase. Some are small, yet they get you, they are small, yet they get you where you need to go. Your rate of progress depends on how well you accomplish your weekly goals. They are the make or break factor in the staircase. Accomplish your weekly goals and you are guaranteed to get top-notch results. Setting goals. Your goals need to be SMART. SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relative, and time-sensitive. Here's some examples of weekly goals. I will do a cardio workout for 10 minutes, 3 days per week. I will eat 3 servings of fruits and veggies 3 days per week. So they're just very specific and measurable. Another important factor to remember when setting goals is your choice of words. Avoid, I will try, I will like to, when I can, etc. Words are powerful and impact the action you take toward your goals. You should always start your goals with I will. Let's get started. Do you have any questions before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to watch a short video about 8 of the 9 laws of health. If you use these principles, you will reach your optimal potential for health and wellness. So let me pull this video up here. Just got to change my settings here real quick. Sanctuary, arrangement, mirror.
Hi, I'm Dr. Randy Bivens. There's a Yiddish blessing, the 120, which translates, may you live 120. Scientists at USC recently calculated the theoretical age a human should live to, 120. Also, Roy Wolford, a pioneer in the science of aging, suggested it's possible for the human body to last 120 years. This may be due to our DNA's remarkable ability to repair error that it develops. Research suggests this ability breaks down around...
August, are you able to pull it up on YouTube? What's that? It's on.
Hi, I'm Dr. Randy Bivens. There's a Yiddish blessing, bis 120, which translates, may you live to 120. Scientists at USC recently calculated the theoretical age a human should live to, 120. Also, Roy Wolford, a pioneer in the science of aging, suggested it's possible for the human body to last 120 years. This may be due to our DNA's remarkable ability to repair errors that it develops. Research suggests that this ability breaks down around 120. So why aren't we all living this long? On average, Americans are only living 78 years. Are there changes we can make in order to make those additional 42 years a reality? The answer is that there is not much stopping us from reclaiming those extra years and theoretically adding a third to our lifespans. The solution lies in 8 simple remedies, which we can start pursuing today. They will make us live longer and more satisfying lives than we may have imagined. First things first. Did you know that most of mankind is chronically dehydrated? The problem comes with a simple solution. How much do you weigh? Just take your body weight in pounds and divide it in half. That number is the recommended number of ounces you should drink every day. Perhaps it goes without saying, but if you're exercising, working in hot weather, or have a fever, you'll need to drink more. Most of us live rather stagnant lifestyles, yet science has proven that movement is key to a healthy lifestyle. Walking is a great exercise and most should not have any trouble doing it. Just walk at least 2 miles a day at a speed of at least 3 miles an hour. It doesn't even matter if you break this time into short periods. Do this 6 days a week and you will be on your way to better health. Nutrition has a profound influence upon longevity. Dr. Roy Wolford, who I mentioned earlier, was able to double the lifespan of mice by simply restricting their caloric intake. In the West, we eat far too many calorie-dense foods. These are foods that provide us with too many calories, have fewer nutrients, and less fiber. Because of this, our stomachs fail to signal us that we should stop eating, and we consume too much. By eating more whole foods, raw or simply prepared, we would naturally eat fewer calories. The old saying, early to bed, early to rise, seems to have anticipated the science of good sleep. Getting adequate rest is very important for our health and longevity. While sleeping, many important functions occur that are necessary for good health. Rest allows our bodies the time needed to repair and to restore. Vitamin D has been shown to be very important in maintaining a healthy immune system. Vitamin D is one of those substances that our bodies need to eliminate free radicals, toxins in our modern environment, which are believed to cause many of our ailments, including cancer and autoimmune diseases. Getting plenty of sunshine each day is important in maintaining high levels of vitamin D. It sounds too simple to be true, but getting plenty of fresh air is important for health. Think about it. We can go weeks without food, days without water, but only minutes without air. Remember to take some deep breaths several times a day, preferably outdoors. When we examine the habits of people who live over 100 years of age, we notice an almost universal characteristic: a temperate lifestyle. Namely, they choose good things in moderation, and they avoid things that have negative effects on their health and their quality of life. Balance and good sense are key in all things. Have you ever heard the term blue zones? This is a designation given to a group of people who have had unexpected longevity. A common factor among these people is trust in divine power. This connection between spiritual and physical health has been shown to be significant in adding years to our lives. So, how do we live to 120? First, we start by beating the odds. Right now, the lifespan of the average American is 78 years. However, data suggests that if we were to follow the guidelines I just listed, it would not be unusual to live to 100 and beyond. Just imagine, 60 years could be only the midpoint of our lives. If you're up for it, we'd love for you to join us on this journey to longer, healthier, and more fulfilled lives.
What do you think?
It was good.
Good information, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. So, now that we kind of have a foundation there, let's begin by filling out the following sections on page 8. And you can write in that. That book is yours now.
Oh, is it?
Yep,
okay.
That's your gift.
Great. All
right, so we'll fill these out one at a time. So we'll begin by casting your wellness vision. So your wellness vision is who you ultimately want to be and what you want to be doing when you reach the top of the staircase. Once you reach these goals, all you will have to do is maintain the habits that have become your lifestyle. So what does ideal wellness look like for you personally?
I would say being more active with my kids, being able to do more with them, is probably my big one.
Okay. So what do you want to do with them?
I'd like to just be able to get out more with them, not be in bed so much.
Okay. Like get outside and play, run around, play tag?
Yep.
All right. That sounds fun.
Not have to rest all the time.
Okay. So let's see here. Anything else besides that? What other things do you think you want to accomplish with your health?
I don't want to get too greedy, but it'd be nice to be able to sleep a little bit better at night.
Okay. No, just put everything out there right now. So you want to sleep better, you want to have more energy to play with the kids. What else?
It'd be nice to live longer.
Okay, you want to live longer?
Yeah.
How long do you want to live?
I'd like to at least make it to 70.
Okay. All right.
Probably not 120.
Not 120.
But
I want to live to 120.
yeah,
But that's cool. Anything else?
no.
No? All right, so you want to sleep better, you want to live to at least 70, and you want to be able to play with your kids.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's write those down. So you want to write I will, and then however you want to write those out.
I will sleep better.
So how much do you want to sleep?
Probably like 8 hours a night.
Okay,
9
8
hours. 8 or 9.
Okay, I will. All right, so you write down I will sleep 8 hours a night. So the wellness...
Of uninterrupted sleep.
Uninterrupted
I should
sleep.
put that. That's very important.
Well, see, you have kids, so that's just not possible anymore. So the wellness vision, you want to make sure they write I will, but that part is just kind of more broad. It doesn't have to be so very specific, but avoid terms like more, because more is like what? 1 more minute of sleep, 1 more step to the 10,000, or so just kind of avoid just the more, but kind of make it doesn't have to be like super specific for the vision part.
All right, I got them all.
All right, so what do you got there?
I will sleep 8 hours a night. I'll be more active with my kids, and I will live longer than 70 years.
Okay, great. So your obstacles. So now let's discover your obstacles. What events, circumstances, or habits are standing in the way of reaching your wellness vision?
Well, right now, probably for the, being able to live longer, my cholesterol is insanely high.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And for the activity, I would say I just have a lot of chronic pain, and then I also have POTS and IIH, which is like a brain condition, essentially. So, like, it's hard to be super active with them because those things are triggered by activity.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you have the IIH. What does that stand for?
Idiopathic intracranial hypertension. It's like it's essentially too much spinal fluid around the brain. So certain things like activity, walking too much, it will increase the pressure surrounding my brain.
Okay.
Which causes like symptoms of a brain tumor. So I'll start losing my eyesight and
Oh, wow.
stuff like that. And then POTS is like a autonomic nervous system disorder. So my heart rate goes too high, blood pressure goes too low.
Okay.
Yep.
And when does that happen? Just randomly or?
Randomly, yeah. Heat is a big one if I'm not drinking enough water, not eating enough salt, stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, I was going to ask you something about the IIH. I can't remember. Okay. So what are the things that agitates the IIH again?
Activity is one.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. How much activity can you do before it affects it?
I would say my POTS is mainly affected by the activity. So IIH, I have spells where it's like it's worse at some times, but I would say I can probably do like, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Usually, then I have to lay down.
Okay. And then how long do you have to lay down for?
At least an hour, 2, sometimes 3. It depends on how much I push my body.
Okay. So like 30 minutes is kind of a safe zone? Or would you say you could still get into it?
What kind of activity are we talking about?
Walking.
Walking. Yeah, walking is tricky for me because I can't walk very long distances. So like the length of the supermarket, really hard for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Walmart, for instance, if I have to get groceries over here and like produce and stuff, but I also have to get something for personal care, I'll usually go to Walmart another day because it's too much walking.
Okay. Gotcha. So what kind of exercise can you do for 30 minutes? It doesn't bother it?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm really like out of shape and stuff.
Okay, that's all right, that's all right. So are you able to like, let's say like walk to the door and back and then take a break and do that several times a day?
Yep.
It's just if it's at one time? Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, they recommend, like he said in the video, you can actually break up the time that you exercise. So like you need 30 minutes a day, but you could do like,
Stints
several
of it,
5-minute or 10-minute segments too.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
that would work for you? Okay. All right. So there was that. And then what other obstacles do you feel like? So we have the cholesterol for the living long. For the activity, we have the POTS and IIH. And then what was the other one?
Sleep.
Sleep. All right, talk to me about sleep.
I'd say I've always struggled with sleep, even when I was a little girl. I think what's causing it is probably the autonomic nervous system related to the POTS, but I'm not 100%. It just kind of puts my body into like a fight or flight mode and causes a lot of like anxiety and stuff, so then I can't sleep. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And they don't give you anything for that? There's nothing they can do?
Yeah, I'm on strong night medication.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to get off of that, but
Right. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. All right. So let's write down the obstacles, and then we'll think about some strategies, and we kind of came up
Okay.
with some already.
What? I can't remember what I said. Obstacles.
The obstacles was the IIH.
Oh, I see. So my health conditions,
Yeah.
essentially. Okay.
You go to church here, right? Okay. How many people go to church here? How many knew this about her? Just a little bit here and there? Okay. Learning new things about her? Okay. Imagine if it was somebody off the street, how much you know. All right. Okay, so what do you have there for obstacles? You're doing great, by the way.
Say again. I'm
I
sorry.
think you're doing great.
Oh, okay.
What do we have for obstacles there? If you
I
just
put
repeat it for me.
IH, POTS, high cholesterol.
And then sleep.
Oh, yes, sleep, insomnia. Okay.
Okay, so we kind of talked about the activity of what you could do there. And that was just kind of break up break up your exercise into little bits and pieces throughout the day.
That's a really solid idea. I like that.
Do you like that? Okay. You can write that down. As a strategy for POTS and IIH, you can write that down.
Oh, I see it down here.
Yeah. You're welcome to put that up here. We can move the microphone too, if it's more comfortable for you.
Yeah, I think that would be a little bit better. Let me.
It's really hard to do that when you're 3 feet away. You're fine.
Oh my gosh, why is it stuck?
It's so heavy. These chairs are very heavy.
It's not heavy, it's just like stuck. But I couldn't get it moving. Okay.
All right. Is that better?
Okay.
Okay. So what about cholesterol? So someone your age having really high cholesterol, it's kind of rare. Have they said anything
Nope.
as to why? Okay.
I don't have any clue on that one.
Okay. What's your diet like?
Well, I feel like so when I was young, I wasn't raised in the Adventist church, so I just had a really high fat diet. Pretty much my mom just made a lot of like Southern food and stuff. And then when I became Adventist, I was vegetarian for a year, and then I got married, and then I started to eat meat again, and then I kind of off and on am vegetarian / vegan / carnivore, so I'm not very consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really all cholesterol comes from animal products. There's no cholesterol in fruits and vegetables. So about how much animal products do you consume on a regular basis?
I don't know if I could put a number on it, but I eat meat probably at least once a day right now.
Okay.
Well, I was vegan for about 8 months, and then kind of slipped away from it a couple months ago, and then just kind of dove head first back into that.
That's all right.
Bad eating.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
What about like cheese and milk and stuff like that?
I don't drink milk. I sporadically have dairy, but not a huge amount. We don't even really keep dairy in the house.
Okay.
But like I'll eat out and have it. So.
Okay. So what do you think you could do to start bringing down that cholesterol?
I don't know. A couple days ago I was doing some research about it, and I was like, something suggested a Mediterranean diet, and so I started a Mediterranean diet.
Okay. So what are you eating with that Mediterranean diet?
I'm eating a lot of vegetables, grains, beans, fish, stuff like that.
Okay. So do you think if you, this sounds pretty good, but you're still going to get cholesterol from the fish, and fish is usually pretty high fat. So what do you think? You think that's helping your cholesterol?
I don't know much about cholesterol, to be honest with you. I just know that my LDL is really high.
Okay. So cholesterol really is going to come from like your animal fats. So like cheese, and you don't drink milk, but like milk, the fat that's in fish, or the fat that's in beef or chicken or anything like that. So that's really where your cholesterol comes from. So, given with fish with a high fat diet, fish are usually high fat, you're still going to get a decent amount of cholesterol. And I believe the Mediterranean diet is pretty high on the fish. Like you got to eat a good amount of fish with that. So do you think eating that amount of fish is helping your cholesterol?
I have no idea. I was vegan for about 8 months and had my cholesterol levels checked, and it went up drastically. So I don't know if it's necessarily the animal products that are doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if it's something with the autonomic nervous system and kind of.
I don't know. Maybe
Hormones.
it's something genetic or something.
Okay. Interesting. Because if you eliminate all the sources of cholesterol, you would think that it would go down. I do know oats and like grains are kind of good for bringing down cholesterol as well. Okay. So what do you want to do about that cholesterol?
I want it to come down significantly because I don't want to have a heart attack at like 30 years old.
Right.
Or in my 30s.
Okay. So maybe what we could do is maybe you could do a little research on what brings down cholesterol, and I can do a little research as well, and then we kind of come up with a solution. So maybe a strategy right now would just research how to bring it down. What do you think about that? That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the other day when I was researching it, it did suggest the Mediterranean diet, which I didn't even, I knew a little bit about it, but I wasn't like super, I'm really open to it. I don't really,
Yeah. Okay. You want to write that down? Research what lowers cholesterol. So if there's an issue and you don't know the answer to it, that's totally fine. That's why I kind of went this route so you could see. She researches it, I research it, we come and share what we figured out during the week, and we talk about it, and then we'll kind of adjust the strategy for that next week. Okay. All right, so we've got the intermittent walking, we've got the cholesterol, now sleep. That's kind of, what's the issue with the sleeping? Like, what's actually happening?
I would say I start getting really bad anxiety and then I can't sleep.
Okay, so what are you anxious about?
Dying.
Dying.
Ironically enough.
Okay, so talk to me about that.
I don't know.
So what are you worried about dying from?
Oh, I think it just stems from all my health stuff from, 2020, to be honest.
Okay. Did you get hit with COVID or?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I've never had COVID, so,
Okay.
which is kind of
Good.
funny. Everyone else has had COVID, but I haven't.
Yeah.
But I've had everything else, so.
I've had everything else and COVID a couple times.
Yeah, so, yeah. No, I just had a severe spinal fluid leak, had a couple spinal surgeries, and yeah, had a lot of stuff going on. So.
Wow, you've been through a lot. Yeah, wow. So what about, okay, so you go to sleep. Do you fall asleep right away?
No.
No, so it's just kind of, you're just there thinking and anxious, and it's keeping you from falling asleep. Okay. So like, what exactly are you thinking about?
Well, I guess it's kind of like an impending doom feeling. You know what I'm talking about? Like right before you know you're gonna die, you feel that.
Okay.
And so I guess it probably stems from that I'm not actually going to die, but it's almost like I'm scared of it.
Okay. So do you feel like you are going to die, or you know you're not going to die, but you just have that feeling?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so you know you're not going to die.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to die now, but, I think I have a little bit of probably mental health issues regarding like PTSD and stuff like that from that time.
Okay.
That are lingering.
From the spinal injury time, or the spinal surgery time?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So what do you think you can do to kind of work through those thought processes?
I definitely pray a lot, and then I'll ask myself, like, why am I afraid of dying? Like, it's okay, you know, if something actually does happen, and that's kind of where I try to calm myself down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, like, not wanting to die is a very natural thing.
Right.
We were never meant to die.
Right. I have 2 young kids, so it's extra scary.
Absolutely. Do you think it's helping you to think that way?
I do.
You think it's helping you to worry about?
Oh, no. No. I'd say what helps me is asking myself some really tough questions regarding why I have that fear, and then praying.
Okay. When you do that, do you find that you fall asleep fairly quickly?
No.
Still don't go to sleep?
I'm just being honest with you. You told me to be
that's
honest.
Great. No, this is exactly what I want. So, okay. This right here is like the solution that I believe to her problem is way out of the coaching scope. Okay? So this is a perfect time to refer to a specialist. Okay? So, have you ever thought about like getting some kind of therapy for it? Mm-hmm. You have?
Yep.
Have you tried it?
Yes.
What happened?
I mean, I still have sleep issues.
Okay.
It's terrible.
So what was your therapy like? Like, how long did you go for? Did you feel like you had a good therapist?
Yeah, I went for probably 8 or 9 months when everything was going on.
Okay.
And, yeah, I liked my therapist quite a bit, so.
Do you feel like they were effective? Did you see any difference?
I do. I went from being able to, so I was having to sleep in the living room because I couldn't sleep in my bedroom because I was having like flashbacks of a major event that happened regarding my health back in 2020. And so I went from not being able to sleep in my room to being able to sleep. Once I was like, my medicine started working, I could sleep in my bedroom. So it helped a lot actually in that regard. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd benefit if you maybe went to therapy some more?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Do you think that would be a good strategy to help you sleep?
I do.
Yeah? You want to write that down?
Mm-hmm.
So what's keeping you from continuing therapy?
Money.
Money. Okay.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's kind of another obstacle, right? Mm-hmm. Anything that, are there like any resources in the community that would give you that for free?
I have no idea.
Would you want to research that?
Sure.
Find out if there's any, like nonprofit mental health counseling or something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we kind of got a strategy there. So what are your motivators? I know you mentioned your kids.
My children.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
No. Okay. Go ahead and write them down. That's all right. Well, living past 70, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What about support system?
Probably my husband's family
Okay.
and my husband.
Any organizations or clubs, any church or gym or anything like that?
Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Cool. Anything else you want to add to any of that? No? All right.
Nope. I feel like I got really deep.
We did.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I kind of just kept going without looking at the book. But I think it was pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to watch the next video on water. And then we're going to set a goal.
Today, I'm going to tell you about a product that will reduce your risk of heart attack. It is at least as effective as maintaining an ideal body weight, reducing high blood pressure, reducing cholesterol, or stopping smoking. It is virtually free, and there are no side effects in healthy people. This product, if taken in recommended amounts, will cure or significantly reduce the incidence of many diseases. These include kidney stones, gallbladder disease, constipation, urinary tract infections, high blood pressure, glaucoma, and venous blood clots. Although not yet proven scientifically, this product is thought to be important in reducing or improving most diseases known to man. On top of that, there are no adverse effects in healthy people. In fact, overall health and well-being are improved. Have you figured out what we're talking about? 2 hydrogen atoms bound to 1 oxygen atom forming H2O, or water. A study published in the American Journal of Epidemiology showed that those who drank more than 5 glasses of water per day had significantly less death from coronary heart disease compared to those who drank less than 2 glasses per day. Dr. Chan, the principal investigator, wrote, "Basically, not drinking enough water can be as harmful to your heart as smoking. Drinking over 5 glasses of water per day will cut the risk of coronary heart disease in half. This has an equal or greater effect than any other well-known preventive measure." The researchers also noted that if people drank anything other than pure water, their risk for coronary heart disease actually increased. This includes tea, coffee, soda, and even fruit juices. Dr. Chan noted, people need to be made aware that there is a difference, at least for heart health, whether they get their fluids from plain water or from sodas. Perhaps you're wondering, how is it that something as simple as drinking water has such a substantial effect on our coronary health? Well, it has been shown that dehydration elevates blood stickiness and increases blood elements that promote clotting. When elevated, these are risk factors for coronary heart disease. So, how much water should you drink? Here's a good rule of thumb. Take your body weight in pounds and divide it in half. That number is the recommended number of ounces you should drink every day. Naturally, your need for water increases with exercise, warmer temperatures, and fever. When dealing with these situations, use your common sense and make sure you drink enough. It is helpful to drink at least 1 glass of water as soon as you wake up in the morning, as well as a glass of water at bedtime. This has been shown to significantly reduce your heart attack risk for that night. Your body is 75% water and your brain is 85% water. Water is more than a simple solvent. It is important in many body functions. With all of these benefits, why don't we hear more about water? Could it be because you cannot patent water? There's no profit in its research or its promotion. As you can see, in our goal to live longer, better, healthier lives, we need to develop the habit of drinking generous amounts of water in conjunction with reducing or eliminating the consumption of tea, coffee, soda, and fruit drinks. We just need plain pure water. Because of the risk of BPA and plastics, it's best to avoid most bottled water. It's a good idea to filter tap water. This can be effective in most situations with a good charcoal filter. This will also save you money in the long run. For those of us with well water, it's a good idea to have your water tested to make sure that it does not contain toxins such as heavy metals. So, in our goal to live 120 years of age, drinking plenty of water is definitely one of the most important habits that we can develop.
Good info in there, huh?
What?
Good info in there.
Yep.
Learn anything?
No.
No. Good for you. All right, so I'm just going to review the key points. I'll start down there and then just kind of work my way around.
Okay.
All right, so basically not drinking enough water can be as harmful to your heart as smoking. That's pretty interesting. Water, if taken in recommended amounts, will cure or significantly reduce kidney stones, gallbladder disease, constipation, urinary tract infections, high blood pressure, glaucoma, and venous blood clots. Your body is 75% water. Your brain is 85% water. Brain cells need 2 times more energy than other cells in the body. Water provides this energy more effectively than any other substance. And the water formula is half your weight divided by 2, and that equals the ounces that you should drink. So, how are your current water drinking habits affecting your health?
I drink a lot of water.
You do? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you mentioned that sometimes you don't drink enough, and that messes with your POTS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, usually if it's 100 degrees outside or and I'm outside for 5-10 minutes or whatever, yeah, I need to increase my water. But I drink about five of these a day. These
Okay.
are 24 ounces, so.
Okay. So you're drinking a good amount of water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. So then it's affecting it positively, right? So you're preventing yourself from kidney stones and constipation, urinary tract infections, high blood pressure, all those things. So it's positive, right? Mm. And you probably don't need to drink that much more water than that.
Yeah, I'd say probably not, no.
Okay.
So the recommended amount for me is 61.5
Okay.
For my weight, so.
And you're drinking way more than that.
Yes.
So, okay, good.
Yeah.
So drinking more water would be a bad thing for you.
Probably,
Okay.
yeah.
So good. All right. Well, good for you. Okay. So let's read these 3 steps here to help you succeed in week 1. Excuse me, week 1. Keep this planner at a place you frequent, like the kitchen, bathroom, or your nightstand, just somewhere where you won't forget where it is, or to forget to log things into it. Track your progress by logging in page 31. And then drink your water when you wake up. And this might be something for you since you're already drinking that much in the day. When you wake up, 15 minutes before meals, an hour to an hour and a half after meals, and before bedtime. This will help you create a hydrating schedule. So essentially, we want to not drink with our meals.
Don't drink when I'm eating?
Yeah, because what happens is, let's say you eat and then you drink a bunch of water or whatever, it's going to get that water out first, and then it'll start working on your food. So basically what it does is it stops digestion for 15 minutes and keeps that food there. So if you drink 15 minutes before and then eat and then drink an hour to an hour and a half after, that won't stop the digestion process.
Okay.
Okay. So you've already got the water down. There's all these little fine tweaking things, but you don't have to do that. That's just kind of...
That's interesting.
Is that interesting?
Yeah, well, how do you get all the food down,
So it might take a little bit to get used to, but
interesting.
you'll start salivating enough. Yeah. Or if you do, just take little sips. Just don't drink a whole bottle while you're eating. You know what I mean? All right. So if you'll turn to page 31, and we'll set your water goal for the week. Well, that was good.
Okay.
Went right to it. So you're pretty much there. So you drink 5 of those a day. You want to just keep that going. You don't really need to add any.
No.
Right. So we just want to make sure you maintain so you don't get any POTS episodes.
I'm trying to think how much I drink a day. Let me see.
That's 100 and...
I guess suppose not all of it is water, though, because I actually put some Pedialyte in it.
Okay.
So maybe I drink 4 of these with water.
Okay.
And maybe 1 of these is Pedialyte, but it's all mixed together usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're getting enough.
Yeah. So I'll just say 4.
So it's 96 ounces of water.
Oh, you're good at math. I have to do this.
It's all right.
Yeah. Oh my, okay, so my recommended is 65.1, I think it was.
Okay.
Okay. Am I drinking too much water?
That's not going to harm you, no.
What did you say?
That's not going to harm you,
Oh, good,
No.
okay.
especially if you start doing the walking and
I
stuff.
like always,
You would have to drink a lot of water for it to harm you. So, okay, so you can just write down there for a goal, because you've already doing it. I will drink 4 cups a day. Being that she's already there and she's not really having to create a goal, me telling her I will drink 4 is not me telling her what to do, because she's already doing it. So that's kind of an exception to the rule. But if she was like drinking 1, I would ask her, how much water would you like to add to this? And that's all in the book here. Okay. So you'll meet people like this. Some people are really good about water. Yes. Okay. So so let me wrap it up real quick, like a minute, and then we'll be done. Okay. All right. So the session is almost over. That's it for today. I'm so excited that you're on your way to experience the whole life. All you need to work on this week is drinking water. Next week, we're going to start walking together, so be sure to wear some shoes that you're comfortable walking in. So same time next week? All right. Well, thank you so much for having me in your home and for coming up here and doing this. And I'll see you next week.
great, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
And I go sit down?
Yeah, you're good. to
Okay,
go.
good.
Thank you so much, Bailey. That was great. Okay. Let's, if you have a question, let's make sure you get a mic that way, because we're still live streaming.
Okay, what if you get the response, well, I don't drink water because I don't like water?
Ask them what do you think they could add to their water that would make them like it. So even if they're, if they want to add some fruit, some lime, some lemon, whatever they think, even if they're like diluting juice. I mean, it depends on, you just got to meet them where they are and just dilute that juice more every time. That could be the goal. But you just got to figure out some way to get them to drink more water. Does that answer? Mark? Yeah? Okay. So even if they have to flavor it, I mean, it's not ideal, but if it's like all they're drinking is soda, but now they're drinking like diluted grape juice, like it's a little bit better. You know what I mean? It's not all the high fructose corn syrup. It's natural sugar. It's still going to make their blood sugar spike, but, Yeah. And it's not acidic like pop is. So in a way, it's better. It's the best. No. But we meet them where they are.
So August up there is asking what your link or website is for your books, or if you have a card, how to contact you.
I'll just put it up here. Okay, I'll go over that.
So repeating the question, what all comes in that packet? Because I know their handouts have some information, but it's not complete.
Yes. Let me get this up here. So here's our website. If you'll just put am I still connected to the? Okay. So if you'll just put my screen up there. There we go. There's a website, grandfinaleseminars.com. We're kind of in the middle of rebranding. I just graduated nursing school. I made these materials right before I started nursing school, so I haven't had time to do anything. So the kit comes with 2 of the planners, so it enables you to coach 2 people. It comes with the Health Partners Guide. That's what gives you the step-by-step instructions. It comes with the DVD, and then it comes with the handbook. And this is basically everything you learned today in a book. It's all the pictures of the brains, the graphs, everything. It's all in there. So this kit enables you to coach 2 people. Yeah, and just really everything you need. How did you like how the book flowed? It seemed pretty easy, and I was pretty much reading it. We have a question back there. Let me get a mic. Okay. Hold on a second.
Does the videos, are they in a different format, or you don't have to bring a DVD? Like, can you do streaming, or
They're on YouTube.
so all the ones that would be in that?
Yeah, everything that's on there is on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so that DVD has it's in English and Spanish. I'm sure the Spanish ones are on there. I've never done it in Spanish. On YouTube. But it has an hour of bonus videos. It's got cooking demonstrations. It's got some other things on here. But you can get the ones you need for coaching. They're all online on YouTube.
It's not on.
There we
Okay.
go.
And also, I've gone into homes where they don't have internet, so I always take a DVD. I use this, but I also use Fit and Free. Fit and Free has, I think, 20 presentations, and they're very specific. Like there's a presentation on sugar, there's presentation on fats, and things like that. So there's other Fit and Free.
Fit and free.
Yeah. So it's a Michigan Conference's health nugget things.
Anybody else?
And
Well, the reason why, is that on?
It will be. Keep talking.
Okay. The reason why I didn't want to take my question earlier, it's more of a comment. You, what is your name? Mine? Yes. Bailey. Bailey, you said that you revealed too much, or you talked too much, or something like that earlier. And I just want you to know that I appreciate how well it did flow, and how you do get more personable with, because that does help open up. I can see how that can be a avenue to bring the gospel if the person doesn't know Jesus Christ, or even if they do, like myself. I've actually been dealing with anxiety, as a friend of mine or two knows, and you being so open, and I'm using the term anxiety, and actually some of the things that you said actually helped me pinpoint some of the things that are actually happening in my own life that, so I just want you to know I appreciate you being open.
yeah.
It's hard to be vulnerable sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, and with everybody watching you, and
Yeah, you've never seen me another day in your life, and then everyone else is watching too, so thank you for opening up like that. You see just how much you can learn about someone in an hour and a half, and really just kind of take that conversation to a deeper level versus our, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. How you doing? You know what I mean? We're really accustomed to that here. Okay, let's take another 10-minute break, and then when we come back, it's your turn to be a coach and to be coached. So again, I want you to be open and honest. The more honest you are, the easier it's going to flow. So take what time is it again? 4:40. Come back at 4:50, and then we'll. Yeah, so we're good on the filming part from now on, and then we can even, I'm done with the mic also. Well, no, wait till they get back, and then you can turn my mic off. So come back in 10, and we'll do some practical stuff.